Alright, this is Professor. Now, this is Ethan here. Quiz over plant diversity. Gymnosperms. Sperm. Number 1. Draw a microsporiate pine cone. Label the microsporophylls and microspomia and plenty levels of each using the diagram in your video. Explain the process of microgenesis and microgenesis products of each and where each process occurs. Okay. So this is it. The microsporogenous process of formation of pollen grains. Inside the pollen sacs of flowering plants, by reduction division, the microgameteogenesis is a process in the plant. Reproduction, where a microsporiate develops in a plant grain to the 3 stage of its development, the 3-celled stage of its development. Number 2, draw a microsporiate pine cone. Label them microphorals and megasporophy and levels of each. Using the diagram in your video, explain the process. As you can see here, the microspores right here, megaspores right here. So for sorry, my bad. Just looking at the diagram again. So the is down here. And the mega is So draw and label. The megaspores is the development of the megaspores from the megaspore side to all undergo meiosis, and the megametogenesis is the development of the female gametes from the haploid products of meiosis. So, it's the mommy and daddy making things, My mom and daddy made me. Ew. Now, given what you know about the division of gynophyte, do you think this division should belong to angiosperm or gymnosperm? Explain why or why not. Well, I think it should belong to gymnosperm because, while the seeds are exposed, the leaves are definitely like needles, and the seeds are naked seeds, so they're not like enclosed, So I feel like that would put them in the gymnosperm. Now, explain the evolutionary steps of forming ovules in the plant seed. The ovule is the development and the successor, Seed together represent a highly characteristic or the feature of the plants, that has been strongly enhanced to the reproductive dispersal parental paths, multiple tissues that perform, The ovules encompass multiple tissues that perform various roles within a highly constrained space of, very constrained, requiring a cell proficient in self-reliance during the morphological differences among lineages and reflect relative displacement of these tissues, but others, such as the intrusions of aerospace and continentals, represents novel and independent innovations, Now, recent studies have found a model of taxa which are considered really enhance our understanding of gene expression in the ovule. So I found that pretty cool. Now, describe timing in gymnosperm reduction, especially pines. The key factor. Describe the order processes that can be formed. So the boy in the girl chromosome XXXY, The boy and the girl, they develop in different stromatoli, with the small cones and the large female cones in males. Yeah, males got something that's really large too. We got big hands, you know? Um, the microspore undergo meiosis, and the result in the haploids and the microspores, which rise to pollen grains. Yellow pollen are released and carried by the wind. Some gametophytes land on the female cones, the pollen develops, and then the baby making process. And the generative cell in the pollen grain produces two haploid sperm or generative nuclei by mitosis, and that's when they're fertilized, and that's when the baby making. That's when they start the issue, that we're gonna vote on Tuesday. That's when that starts, but only for like the pine cones,